Okay. Call this workshop to order. The pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's roll call Joe then, all the report. Workshop 2027, water and sewer. So Chris has put together sort of three options just to give basic ground open for discussion. These are not anything set in stone. These are just for discussion that gives sort of a wide variety of pricing. What that would give, you know, and we also like to talk water meters in this meeting. And did we get Kevin a link?
Oh, I don't know. Show everybody my email. Got it now. I sent it.
You accepted it?
Oh, I sent the email. I don't know if he's read it.
See. He just texted me.
Well, we're waiting for that. In the meantime, I sent that initial email after the last meeting, and I used some of the funding that the police departments received to cover costs instead of the general fund covering those costs and having that money allocated for that. And that allowed us to, in effect, subsidize the water and sewer funds to some extent to bring down the cost of expenses on personnel by shifting the cost from the water and sewer into the general fund. That funding is in place for 2 years. So this is not sustainable. It's not that it can't continue this way, but it does buy some time. And with that, that left the initial option to not increase any of the rates on the sewer or water for the year. That's what I originally sent out to you guys as a way to not have to increase that, with the caveat that it is the general fund vicariously through the police department subsidizing the water and sewer fund, which is not sustainable, not proper, and shouldn't continue. But it gives us a starting point. So there's that. Here you go, Joel.
Any chance Kevin on yet?
Not yet. And then the caveat to that is that talking with the mayor, he brought up the issue of replacing the water meters. That without any rate increases, even with that subsidy and what I described to balance it, that only leaves approximately $10,000 or $13,000 a year to replace water meters. So we could do that, 6 to 8 water meters per year, every year until they're done. And the mayor asked me what it would take if we looked at funding the water meters to be put in place there he is. Kevin's here now. And so the water replacement surcharge was a potential with that, with no rate increases, but a surcharge if we want to raise funds to be able to replace the meters as a surcharge that would drop off once the meters are replaced. So that was that initial budget sent to you guys in a nutshell. And the other two I have ready to show up here.
Okay, yeah, basically Metron offered, one of their proposals would be a 3-year.
You talking to your mic, sir? Mayor?
Pardon?
Can you pull your mic and talk into me?
People having trouble hearing me, that's usually not an issue. Anyway, they offered a 3-year payment plan where it'd be a third down, a third in a year, and a third in 2 years. That would give one way to sort of ease the pain of getting the meters. If if Kevin's available, I'd like to let him. He gave us a presentation on his meters, and I'd like him to give that to the council and to the public and kick that around.
Yeah, please.
Kevin, you on?
Yep, I'm here. Can you guys all hear me?
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
All right, let me see. So this all changed. This is different. Do you guys select me to be able to share my screen? Oh, here we go. I found it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. So it says host disabled, attendee screen sharing.
I'm going to make you the host. Just make sure you give it back to me.
Yep.
But you can screen share now.
Okay. So you guys see my screen so far? Sorry, I am doing this from my house, so sorry if you hear my dogs bark. Are you guys able to see my screen currently?
No. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're good.
So you can see all of our meters?
Sorry.
Okay. So basically, we have the same lay lengths for residential. It's the same lay length as what is currently installed. It is the same lay length for anything up to 1.5 inches at 2 inch. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So anything from 2 inch and above, there would be a spool needed. A 2 inch, it's included in the cost of the meter. Anything above that, the spool piece is only $250. But the way that we do things is, so we have a cell chip built directly into our register. So there's only one point of electronics. And if it's in a pit, it actually is sitting down at below ground level. So you don't really have to worry about freezing as much as anything else. And then all of the reads are time synced midnight to midnight. So they read, the register will wake up during Verizon's off-peak hours between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning and send equivalent to a text message. From there, it'll go to Microsoft Azure, and then we will mine through all of that data, and then we present it back to you guys in 1 minute data resolution through our web portal. So all you need to access this is login credentials with username and a password. If you guys decide to give your homeowners access, they are also able to have access to their meter at no additional charge. But for example, right here, the ID, consumer name, address, those will all come through your billing software. And then Metron we populate the rest right here. Our only unique identifier is the VNID. So as long as for example, you guys currently read with MXUs, I believe, correct? Drive by?
Yes, I believe that's correct, Mike.
Okay.
Drive by.
Well,
So
How we read our meters now.
yeah, we have to manually Right. By
Okay.
tone.
Okay. So with whatever, do you guys by chance know what billing software you use?
Cassell?
Okay, so that is, for example, that is what the city of Buffalo uses currently. They have a file written for us already. So
Sweet.
billing integration, which is included in the cost of the meters from our side of things, that would be a piece of cake. But for example, for say there's somebody is moving out, they need to move out. Well, the billing read right here. Well, they know nobody no longer needs to roll a truck. You can just quickly jump here. You have your billing read on your move out date. If that is not the correct date, you could come in here. So when I click here, now this is going forward. This is the access that your homeowners can have access to. This is their individual meter, which this probably isn't a very good example. I'm going to jump to a different one just because I don't know what old school services is. But from this point forward, this just gives a breakdown of their entire meter and basically how it's working. Here's their indoor usage. Here is their leak. Just under 24% is just being wasted. It's nonstop. And we can tell that by just, if you hover over this little red line right here, they have a leak at just above 1/10 of a gallon per minute. But when people come in to argue that their meter isn't working, you can actually come in, show them this graph. So they have irrigated a little bit, not very much. But if they argue that their bill is too high, well, that's because they just under 40% of their water is due to that leak, where they are using roughly only 60%. So if they find that leak, they can dramatically decrease their water bill. And then they are able to sign up for their own notifications as well. They can do text, email, or both. They can set up, and you guys can control what they can set up for. But they can set up if they have leak, intermittent, high usage, watering restrictions, low temperature, basically anything you guys can think of. And then one other benefit is I'm guessing you guys have some snowbirds that travel down south during winter months. They can actually put into our software the day that they will be gone to the day that they get back. And if any water is used, they will get a text message right away. Or if a pipe bursts in the basement, they will receive a text message right away. Oh, did I hear a question?
No, it's more like this is like, 2026 technology instead of 1975.
Yeah, gives the homeowner a lot of options. I was talking to Missy White, the mayor of Lander, that has this system, and she just really likes it a lot.
So just to kind of show you guys what we are able to do, it sounds like you know a little more than I thought. This is Pioneer Water and Sewer just outside of Casper. So they have one supply meter, 24 meters downstream of it. Since we are time synced midnight to midnight, we can break that down and actually give daily water loss. So today, or I guess, yesterday it would have been, her daily water loss would have been 3.26%. So, I mean, if you see a big spike, there's something happening right away. So we're able to locate not really locate, but we can generally tell you where your leaks are as well. And then we will just go through some of the settings. A leak, did it go to 0 for 1 minute throughout the day? If it did not, I would argue there is a leak. Our meters are very, very accurate on the low flow. So we will register leaks at 1/300th of a gallon per minute in certain locations. We don't want to barge you with those, so we created the threshold leak. These are what I would consider your actionable leaks that you should contact a homeowner. We start that at 1/4 gallon per minute because, well, a quarter gallon per minute adds up to a lot of water if if it goes unattended for. So typically, if anything over a quarter gallon per minute, those are your people coming in to argue saying there's no way I use that much water. Your intermittent leak, this would be your toilet flappers. For example, every time somebody rolls a truck because there's a leak and it's a toilet, the toilet's never running when you actually get there. So we did a continuous usage. So that has to go for 60 minutes of a low flow of half a gallon per minute and a high flow of 4 gallons per minute. And by being able to do 1 minute data resolution, we were able to learn the different flow rates of the different things, like the faucets and toilets and washing machines inside the house. So we're actually able to break it down and basically tell them where the leak is at what time it starts. Your high usage, percent use, those are they don't really mean much for us, to be honest. Backflow, did it go backwards? Zero use, this is a revenue protection. Say you have zero use on a supply meter. Well, if it's applying, it should never go to zero. So if it ever flags that, you should check the meter right away. High temperature, you guys probably don't deal with that one, but low temperature, you do. So Pioneer Water and Sewer currently has it set up so that if the meter location, so we keep the ambient meter location. So if it's in a pit, we will tell you the temperature inside the pit where the meter is located. If it drops down, it'll tell you if you have a problem with the pillow inside. So it proactively saves meters from freezing is the best way to put it. Reception consistency, those unauthorized use. If you have people that don't pay their bill and you shut them off, you upload them onto this list here. If any water is used, you will be notified. Unexpected use, this is what I was talking about with your snowbirds. They can put in the dates that they'll be gone. And then if any water goes through their meter, you guys will all get notified. If you ever have watering restrictions, you can break this down to any way you absolutely think of. And that is the best way I can say it. You can do it by number of days, time, even odd addresses by day, really anything you can think of. And then your emergency transmit, this is the one that protects your basements from flooding if somebody is out of town over winter and a pipe bursts. It'll wake up, send a text message to the homeowner right away. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys.
No.
And then I will click this one just to kind of show you. So Metro or Verizon already is looking for tomorrow's reads. So it's going to show up as zeros. But if I do here, account lookup, and I'm sorry, this is just a time of day thing that is a bummer. So they have one unit that did not communicate this today. It did yesterday. They have 311 total units. They definitely average 100% reads every single day. Unfortunately, if I show you Lander, I'm going to have the same issue with the system status, though.
Yeah, I believe when you did the demonstration, you showed us the city of Lander. I forget how many thousand meters, but there was only 4 that wasn't reading.
So they have a total of 3,249 installed, and they have they have 5 total missing reads.
5 today, okay.
Yep. And I mean, this one will read. They did just order some new antennas because they had some rodents that ate through some. If that happens, you don't have to replace all of the electronics. It's a $15 replacement, which is a big difference from our competitors. And that's just a benefit because we just have the one point of electronics. And then I think this happened when I was coming on. So Metron is 100% direct. We do nothing with distributors. So I live in Colorado. I get into I've been into Wyoming 3 times this month. I get there quite often. So if there's ever an issue, I'm either there, or if it's web-based, we can just link computers, just kind of like I gave you a demo and I answer questions just like that. But we are willing to help utilities fund it, where you can break the total cost, which this is just ballpark. It's nowhere going to be exact, I'm sure. But for example, if the project total is $135,000, you guys are able to break that down into 3 payments, where on the upfront cost, you pay a third. You get all of the meters so that you guys can get a chance to get them installed and actually see the revenue that the new meters are providing. And then 365 days later, the second payment is due. And then after that, 365 days later, the third. But besides that, support, billing integration, everything else is included in the cost of the meters.
Chris, do you have a question?
Yeah, just when you said that this screen right here is nowhere near accurate or close.
I mean, it is pretty close.
Okay. I just want to say, is it going to turn out to be like $1 million or something? I just want to clarify that.
Honestly, I bet it would be within $10,000 of that total. Okay. Just because it sounds like they have a couple 4-inch meters which aren't on here, but it's an extra $1,500 tops.
Okay, that's all I had.
Yeah, no,
what's the average?
It's pretty close. And what's that?
Councilman Whitener has a question for you.
Kevin, what's the average cost per meter for residential, just off top, if you will?
For us
to purchase?
Well, every company is different. So
that's true. Yes.
For example, I can tell you.
Kevin, I guess let me reframe my question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm asking you what your average meter cost is.
Your cost, right? Or I mean, for the residential meter, the $385 is the same cost that the city of Lander pays.
What's that?
And that's the meter. That's not the pit or anything like that. Mike, is that something you have to have?
We don't do installs of the meter pits themselves. But if the pits are there, then we can install the meters. My recommendation on that would be to have somebody install the pits and the meters at the same time, which unfortunately our company doesn't do that. I do know people that would do it though.
Kevin, the chief, has a question for you.
I guess the question I think Councilman Widener's trying to get at is what additional costs would we need to facilitate the full installation of these meters above just the meter itself?
I mean, so you could put them in the basement where the current meter is installed, and as long as your shutoff valves work, you're good to go.
Mike, have you looked at, I believe a lot of these can be installed in the current pits, recommended with some top. Did you look at some cost? Have we got a cost yet on new pits, if we need any, or how many? Could you come step up to the podium? This is Mike Quiver, Director of Public Works.
Yeah, Mike Quiver, Director of Public Works. Yeah, just that one quote I got from Ferguson on the pits and everything that comes along with it that we need to install. That's if you guys all want to go to pits.
What would that cost
inside
be?
the houses, I'd like to get away from them because it's sometimes we don't have access. And there's one place where we can't even get get into the crawl space. None of us fit. We need a little tiny bit. One house there.
What was that quote, the one you received per pit?
I can't remember right offhand.
Is that $54,000 one?
The what?
Like 54,000?
That, well, that was for the, meters and all of it.
That was, yeah, that was our ballpark, first ballpark. This
Oh,
one's a
okay.
lot more accurate. It actually went
Yeah,
down
but
a little bit.
Ferguson, that was everything. But that was before they lost their contract to census. And Core and Main took it.
So what you're saying though, if we did with a pitless install on the meters, we'd save all that money and be able to have better access and whatnot, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, we change them out.
Uh,
If we change them out now, I'd have to dig up a lot of the ones that are already in there because they're not coil.
Yeah.
But if I change them to coil, it'd be a lot simpler to replace. There's some that are coil that we replaced already. I
We have a
think there's about
hodgepodge of
6
meters,
or
don't
7 of them.
but
But the ones that we replaced, that's the ones that are already in the pit. You have to dig them out.
we,
And there's some that,
Did I just hear you have a hodgepodge of meters?
oh, what?
What all kinds of meters do you guys have?
Just census.
They're all census, but they're different models. So
Okay, so if it's an SR2 meter, we just take that register off and put ours on. You're up and reading on our water scope the next day.
Yeah, most of them are SR2.
Those, well,
answers that question.
in most places, we bring the SR2 back to brand new specs. And that's because there's the coupling of the magnet inside the meter as well as the magnet inside the register. And over time, it's just more wear and tear, drag, and they lose accuracy, which we have tested millions of other meter manufacturers where basically you just take the old register off, spin ours on, and it's the same lock-in screw as the SR2, but ours is cellular.
I think that was
Where
the
was
question we
the
were trying
cost
to
of this?
hint at getting to is that extra cost. That kind of answers that.
I mean,
We
I
don't have that.
can make this a lot cheaper.
We go that route.
And then, I mean, Grant, our meter will also tell you, once we put the register on the SR2, you'll know if the meter is broke right away. And then it's just a change of a meter body. Our registers go on whatever size meter it is. We just program into an index ratio saying with every revolution of the magnet inside the meter, this is how much water went through. So, I mean, we can program our register for a true 5/8 up to an 8-inch fire service. So if you did do, we call it the retrofit, where you put our register on other meters. If you did do that, I would highly recommend switching out the commercial meters still. Just because, for example, our 2-inch commercial meter is rated down to a 1/4 gallon per minute. That is the same as your Census SR2 5/8 by 3/4 meter currently installed. So a lot of extra water being registered that is currently going unaccounted for.
Thank you.
any questions for Kevin? Well, I appreciate that your presentation, taking the time to give us that, and we'll stay in touch.
Of course. Sounds good. I hope you guys have a good evening.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Feel free to give me back control.
You give you back control?
Still sharing his screen, so.
We text
There
you.
we go.
Okay.
He got there. Okay. So anyway, that initial one that I reconfigured with no rate increases whatsoever also had a $4 meter replacement surcharge, which would not be nearly enough to pay for this over a 3-year period. As I said, that only gives it the ability to replace so many meters per year. To replace all the meters, we would have to go to at least a $10 surcharge for 3 years, but no rate increase beyond that.
But that
Then
$10
it would drop.
would just be for approximately 3 years and then
just
would
for
drop
meters.
off because they'd pay for the meters.
So the actual rates wouldn't increase, but the surcharge would be there for the meters for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then the other ones that I could pull up were discussed amongst many different people. So we prepared 2 additional calculations of things that can be discussed or talked about. One is doing a flat rate bill of $120 with no water meters, as far well, water meters, but not being charged for water usage. That's what's on the board right now. That is. That was not labeled. That's the one that wasn't labeled. So that's what that will look like. And it would provide enough funds for it to be self-sufficient without restrictions on water. And there would be no. The meters being read still have to be read. We still have to track our water usage. However, there's no charge for any water that you use. You use 80,000 gallons, water your lawn, doesn't cost you anything. You're paying that in the base. That's what this one represents. And then for the sewer, it also stabilizes the sewer fund as well. And then the other option that was discussed or asked to be presented, I should say, is doing a rate increase to stabilize the fund. It'd be a $12 increase, $8 to water, $4 to sewer. And it still does have a meter replacement surcharge because even with that increase, it's not enough to pay for the water meter repair or meter replacement, which is approximately 50,000 a year, somewhere in that ballpark. And so there's still that surcharge on there. But the caveat to this one is that the rate goes up $8 on water, but instead of being charged $3 per 1,000 gallons of usage over 10,000, the rate would still be 10,000, not go down. And instead of being $3 per 1,000, it would drop to $1 per 1,000. So if you, for example, if you use 16,000 gallons of water in a month, you're going to pay X amount of money. Under this one, if you use 16,000, you'd be paying exactly the same, even though your base rate went up. So after 16,000, you're actually having a lower water bill than you would currently have with a lower base rate. If anyone's confused on that, I can explain that and show you the numbers, but it's $2 less per 1,000 gallons. So you can do the simple math. A $12 increase, 6,000 gallons would cost you $18. And in this scenario, that 6,000 only cost you $6. So there's your $12 difference. And everything after that is only $1 versus $3. So you're actually able to water, to those that water their lawns would actually be paying some less than they're currently paying now as well. And people that are using 12 or 13,000 gallons a month wouldn't really see much of a difference.
Yep.
Yeah. On average, 1239.
For families. So it depends on your family makeup.
It would, Chief, it would, the other 2 options, I guess, would encourage people to maybe water their yards more if they so desired, where it wouldn't be costing quite, it wouldn't be a lot extra to do that.
This
And-
method is the same way. It doesn't cause any. It's giving you more base water and the water usage is less. Or the water rate for the usage you're over is less than we're paying now. So Chris is saying it evens out at 16,000 and those that choose the water have yard, have garden, have flowers, etc., benefit from the 16,000 gallons plus.
So in a way, you could say it incentivizes you to have a yard for
Right.
cheaper.
Yes.
But
At the $4 a month surcharge. Don't we have like 200 accounts?
so $4 a month only raises 13,000 a year.
276
So
active resident meters.
so we would actually have to have $10 surcharge if we're going to do it a 3-year period.
Right. Well, there was
What is it?
with our other workshops, we had the petition and all that, and there's enough. The consensus was that the biggest of the people who showed up, the biggest issue is the discrepancy in working and non-working water meters.
Mhm.
I wonder if it would be, so it'd be if we left everything with option, whatever, where the rates don't go up.
So what I can tell you right now, I'll squash that whole thing. People that have meters are not subsidizing everybody else. That is
I know.
just patently false.
I'm
I can look at how much water we produce, and I can look at how much water is metered right now, and I can see what the difference is. And then I can take that and the 77 meters are non-functioning, and I can apply that to that, and I can get an average number, which is about 3,800 gallons a month between that. So that there is a few people that are currently not having a meter that do get some additional water that we don't know of, but that is not to spread that out over the whole town. That is not the case. But it needs to be metered. We need to know what our meters are.
So would it be smarter to, so we would need to have a $10 a month surcharge
If we're going to replace all the meters.
to replace all the meters? And that $10 a month surcharge would have a definite beginning and a definite end.
Correct.
Correct. Yes.
And it would be the same fare for everybody and it'd get us on that. We could go with exactly what we're doing, plus the meter surcharge between these two dates and have a completely updated system.
Yes.
That'd be fair for everybody.
Yes.
That's my understanding. But
Yes.
it would have to be more of a $10 surcharge a month,
To do it in 3 years. Yeah.
which we would have to do if we're doing this.
Yeah, one nice thing about their proposal, 0% interest
Right.
on, yeah.
Yeah, and that,
And the current rate, if we did nothing and to replace those same amount of meters, would take us probably 6 or 7 years. To replace all the meters in town would probably take us, obviously longer.
20.
So, and, the issue, I guess, facing you guys to decide on is that right now we have the general fund, and I'm going to say this explicitly as I possibly can for everybody in this room to understand. We have the general fund paying for, subsidizing, and taking care of the water and sewer fund, and we're still losing money. So this thing that doing nothing is not an option. Take that as you will. But I can only do this for 2 years with the police department. There's no other money and no other revenue to bring into this. It's not a spending problem, it's a revenue problem. And if anyone wants to look at the budget, tell me where we can make cuts, please do.
Yes, please, go ahead. Councilman
So
Woody.
Chris, with the money that you moved in the budget from the police department to kind of cover things up, not cover things up. Cover things. Yeah, that really sounds bad.
Yeah, that's really bad to say, police department cover up,
Yeah, I know, I just, I said that way. That's not exactly what I meant, but anyway, you get the idea. So what's the impact to the police department of doing that? I mean, because it's money that you had to be able to really support our law enforcement folks, and so at our department, are we shooting ourselves in the foot, so to speak?
Kinda, but not directly. This money that we're getting is our participation with the 287G program. And so we're still getting more things through the program and more funding. It just doing this by subsidizing, we're just getting a little bit less than we'd want. So are we going to have a deficit from it? No, but it's not sustainable. It was my point, because it's only there for 2 years while we participate. Then once that goes away, and if we don't address this, that money is gone. And I can only spend it on certain things. I can only use it for certain items. It's not general fund money in the traditional sense. It is strictly for the police department but because there are inherent costs with having a police department that I can use that money to pay for anyway, that frees up that money otherwise in the general fund that was able to absorb some of these costs.
It
Yeah.
offsets, I understand that.
No, but yeah, it's not hurting us. We're still having a capital budget of like
Yeah.
$37,000 extra. That's how much money we're getting.
Let me try to summarize, correct me if I'm wrong. What this allows, to spend money on certain items that we would be funding much of this or some of it through the general fund if necessary, that we don't have to, or other police funds. It frees up money on the PD that on allowable items, to do that through
No,
the agreement, yes.
I get that, I understand that, I don't want training to be shorted, I don't want,
Yeah.
other.
No.
Equipment that's necessary that.
We're actually having a bonus plus with this funding. We're still keeping most of it. 85% of this additional funding that wasn't there previously, that's there. We only diverted 15% or so to cover. That's the wrong way to say it. To offset. So we're still benefiting 85%. We're getting $100,000 for a police vehicle. That's 100% there. Instead of using our vehicle replacement fund, we get to keep that and use this instead.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So no, I guess I'm just trying to answer your question that we're fine. We're okay with it. But the bigger thing is that money in general is only there for 2 years. And then what? So that's kind of where we're okay in the police department.
Basically, it's one-time money.
Yeah.
But we're calling one time for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get that.
And
I
I was-
understand that very well. And I just, we use our one-time money, to buy those things that we normally wouldn't buy, that we really would be nice to have to be able to, kind of.
Well, I was going to go buy a tank, but I decided that maybe we'll reallocate some of this to keep,
A water
rates for. No. Other
Oh, I
thing.
thought we were on water, sorry.
Tank would be fine.
So
I think method A is blatantly not a good option because we're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. And
Which one's method A?
doing,
doing nothing,
Moving
keeping the
the-
meter that we keeping it $88 and doing a surcharge. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul
I
and
disagree with that on the count that it's,
we're taking police allocated money that is budgeted on his program that he got essentially for ICE to cover our failing water. No, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul. I mean, that's like me taking my credit card to pay my other credit card and then to take my next credit card to pay that credit card. And then the one I just paid, I'm going to pay that one. It makes no damn sense. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's not prolonging us. What that is doing is easing the pain and not getting down to the grit.
well,
It's putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole.
unless you
Go ahead.
consider that the end result is new water meters for everybody and it's a short-term Band-Aid with a long-term fix built into it. So if you're moving stuff from credit card to credit card while your investment on this other deal's growing just to get by,
But
that's
we're hang
borrowing
on
from
just a minute.
Peter to subsidize Paul.
But we're taking money.
Go ahead, Councilman.
We're taking money and then we're turning around and on a 3-year 0% loan and having a surcharge. It's financial suicide. That's what it is. It doesn't make no damn sense. And frankly, it's why this town's in the position it's been in.
I would,
Got nothing left to
But
say.
go ahead, Councilman.
I would agree with, Councilman Jordan if, there wasn't a plan to pay it off. Which, that's what you presented, as a plan to pay this off. And this is, I believe, what you're getting at, Jake, is there's a plan to pay it off. It's not just something we keep turning over and turning over and turning over and turning over. There's a plan to pay it off.
Yeah, we need to have a plan to replace the meters one way or the other, which I think it should be a priority. And we just need to look at what options works out the best way to do that.
Well, my other
Go ahead,
question
Councilman.
is if we do option A, what's the the legal status on that, really?
That's a Marshall question, to be honest with you.
That, right, and Marshall's on. All right, he was earlier. I didn't know if that's even legal to such type.
He's still here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
So if we shift some of the funds that were freed up from the police department. Those funds that were freed up due to the grant, if we shift them from the general fund into the water fund to subsidize that for 2 years while we do a surcharge to get all the meters replaced, knowing that we're gonna have to raise rates in 2 years, is that legal?
Well, what I'm going to tell you is that you are required
Right.
by law under 157606 that you are to maintain your enterprise fund. And that enterprise fund has to be maintained at an amount to cover any debt, if you have any debt, your operating costs, and reasonable reserves for depreciation of the system, and any anticipated acquisitions that need to be done. How you decide to get there, I can't tell you to do that, but that is a requirement. You are going to have to come up with the money to fund your enterprise fund somehow, in some way. You can't constantly fund out of the general fund by statute.
And if I can,
Go
Add
ahead,
that.
chief.
and just for context, right now I just went over the numbers with the mayor before the meeting. We have 14,000 in the reserve fund remaining for the water, and I believe 10,000 remaining in the sewer, and that could be reversed. Maybe it's 10,000 or 14, but it's either way, it's 10 or 14. Right now we're projecting a loss of the sewer fund of 2,500 this year. And that's, when I say projected, I mean, it's either 2,500 or 2,800. It's, and the water is projected to lose almost 8,000. So we're losing money every year, even with this. And the problem is twofold: unexpected maintenance costs that come up because we have no leeway in our budget. We don't have, or we have a revenue target, and if we have customers leave, we don't hit that target, and we spend even below budget, we're still losing money because we are budgeting literally to zero, and we have no depreciation built in. Very little depreciation. So we have almost no wiggle room in our current rates. And that's why I kind of led with what I did kind of so strongly, because I really want to get the point across. This is where we are. And it's the cost of doing business.
And Chris, with the numbers, with moving the water rate, base rate up $8 and the base rate of the sewer $4, that'd be $12. That would bring the monthly minimum to $100.
It would. And
what does that do for the balance sheet and with the, and
Well,
there
because
again with the $1 per thousand over 10.
it doesn't fundamentally do a lot when we're talking about replacing meters, but it does allow the ability of, instead of 5,000, we're talking a $15,000 variance in the depreciation side every year. So it allows that, so we're not running negative accounts.
But with that, that'd be a $10 monthly meter surcharge on top of that for 3 years.
Well, yeah, I was talking about, those
yeah.
are mutually exclusive. I'm talking
Right.
just about
Water.
the sustainability of the water fund and the sewer fund. That's what it allows for. And this is it's personnel. There's nothing in this budget that's being spent on vehicles. You know who pays for the vehicles? The police department. Every piece of equipment out there, the police department's paid for. And I want people to understand that this money is strictly in personnel. That's it. That's all you have is personnel costs. And unfortunately, we're a small agency. We're a small department, small enterprise fund, and you need people to run it. And you got to pay your people. And that is a cost. And that is what rises every year. Insurance goes up. All those, so there's always going to be something in there. But we've been so much bouncing, trying to right to zero every year, year to year to year to year to year, because our rates were so absurdly low when they were literally being subsidized almost 60% by the general fund. So it was great when everyone had $50 water. That was great. But you had 2 employees in town hall and nobody else. And you had nothing else being done because it was all going to the water and sewer from your general revenue. And that is not legal. Never was. That's been fixed now. And this is where we're at. And so I understand the frustration, but my frustration and the clerk's frustration is when we're trying to go through these things and trying to pay the bills, it gets you can't, get blood out of a turnip.
And what does the 120 flat rate do also if it went to the 120 flat rate?
That raises the most money sustainably, and it actually increases the ability for the town. You wouldn't need to have a surcharge. And when that surcharge drops off, there would actually be meaningful monies put into savings at that rate if you did that.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please.
With that
Councilman.
120 per month flat rate. Is that limited by number of gallons or?
We'd have to put an upper cap on it somewhere because you'd have people watering the sidewalk. I've seen you guys. But you would have to have some kind of some upper limit to that. But that we're talking like 80,000, 100,000 gallons, somewhere in there would have to be the upper limit.
Or 40,000.
Or I'm just saying
Yeah.
something reasonable because,
May I continue? So.
Yes, please, excuse me.
If,
Apologize, I was out of order.
I think high water users should be willing to pay over the top. I don't want to have, and I know that Joe and I are high water users, and I don't want other people paying my bill either. I that's kind of overstating it a bit. We'd still be paying our 120. But our last water bill this last month was 230, and I think it's probably gonna get more. So,
I can tell you what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So
I think
So-
you get my point.
I do. And that's why I if you wanted my recommendation is I have no issues with what we're doing for this year to keep the rates the same. I don't. So please don't take that as I do. I don't. I think we're a small town. We got to find creative ways sometimes to get things done in a meaningful way. But the caveat to that is to put our head in the sand and act like that tomorrow's going to be down the road, kick the can. That is exactly what's happening if we do that. The best way that I came up with thinking about what is the average water usage, what is the way the best to stabilize it, where does that coming down, raising rates, lowering rates, where does that meet in the middle the best? And that was with an $8 to the water increase to the water while simultaneously decreasing the usage from $3 per thousand down to 1,000. That was the best way where you meet in the middle. Because if you do that, people, like I said, if you use 16,000 gallons a month, it's the exact same. You're paying that. If we do nothing right now at all, you're paying the same amount there as you are here. But it doesn't penalize as much water usage over for having grass. So more people might actually water their grass. And by vicariously through that, more money is received into the fund by having a cheaper way to maintain a lawn.
Trying to do a balance on that number there.
That's a tall ask, but that's the best I
Yes.
could come up with.
But the $8 rate does not have an avenue to new meters.
Correct. There would still need
But
to
you'd have to be, yes.
Does the flat rate have an avenue to new metering?
well, it close. You need probably a $5 surcharge still. with the
So it
flat
would
rate
be like 125
for 3
flat
years,
rate.
and then it'd go down to 120.
for 125 for three
3
years.
and then it would go down to $5 back.
Well, at 3 years, we could relook at it and
When
all the
once
meters
are in.
all the meters are in, and
Yeah.
we can decipher where we
Yep.
go from there.
And I'm,
Go ahead.
I just, it's never popular making anything more expensive, but last I checked, price of gas changes, price of food changes, price of everything in the world changes. And to think that the water is going to be stagnant and there's no cost, it's water, it comes out of a well. Oh, great. Someone's got to, we have to have employees. We have to have people to manage it. So that's not realistic to think it's not going to ever go up. But I think that we're at a point that if we get to the point where we have a reasonable capital investment into the service, that any future increases are going to be market adjustments, not massive increases. And so when we're talking about raising the water and sewer, we're talking 35 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, not dollars, $10. And that's where I think my recommendation is, that's where the council needs to get these funds to, is where they are self-sufficient, self-sustaining, and actually have enough capital to invest and have monies left over at the end of the year. Significant monies. $1,000 may sound like a lot to me and you, but when you're talking about $15,000 for a water pump, it's a drop in the bucket.
On
That-
plan C, have we looked at possibly figuring out how to utilize the overages to help generate the funds for the water meters?
Which one's Plan C?
That's what, is that the flat rate?
Plan C is the
That's a
one
flat
that would
rate.
be the $12 increase
Oh, this one.
and $8 water.
Okay, that's this one.
Or $8 water increase, $4 sewer, $12
this one.
total.
Okay, what was the question again?
Have we looked at that metrics on what the overages would be on that money that potentially it bills? So in the past of what could possibly be generated to cover some of the water meter or cover all of it or XYZ.
So this one was, with that proposal, that was irrespective of the water meters, that was getting the fund to a point that it could be self-sustaining with a depreciation fund built into it. The meters are in addition to it. And so the increase is to stabilize the water fund just in general and have that depreciation there, sinking fund, whatever you want to call it, same thing. And then the water meters would still have to be added on for 3 years in this case.
I'd like to add the life expectancy of these water meters we'd be installing is 20 years. That's their life expectancy per our conversation with Kevin when he came and gave us the presentation, was life expectancy of these meters are 20 years.
Is that the life expectancy of the electronics or the valve?
No, hang on, go ahead, come speak.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna tell you you're over time and we have a 7:30 to reconfiguration, so you got 8 minutes and I gotta go anyway.
Very good. Go ahead, real quick.
Well, I'm just wondering what the life expectancy is of the electronic part of it or the physical mechanical part of it. Plus, I was also gonna ask, if I ever got up here, we've got a new development in this now. They can replace just the electronic part on the old valves. That should be a significant cost savings there. We ought to look into how much that savings would be.
Problem is budget's due.
Okay,
No,
I'm done.
So we just get up and ask a question?
No,
just raise your hand if you'd like to, please come up.
No, go to that. So do we already have this ice money?
Would you
or-
please introduce
Oh, I'm
yourself?
sorry, I'm Michelle Herbert.
Thank you, Michelle.
Do we already have this ice money or are we anticipating getting it?
oh, we have it. It's an agreement that we've already sent.
But do we have the money or did we just agree we're gonna get the money? Like, do we have it in our account? Has it came yet or they're just agreeing that they're going to send it?
I guess
to
where
you?
you're going with the question, let's just cut to the chase.
Do we have that money in our account?
No,
Or
we
do we
don't.
just have an agreement that they are going to send us the money and we haven't received it yet?
July 1st.
Okay,
I guess I was just trying to ask what,
well, I mean, just the way things are going, we haven't got it yet and we're making a budget on money that we haven't yet received.
well, that's what
And
we
I
do.
know it's only in a couple of days,
But that's how you do an entire budget. We haven't.
but if
received
we
any
don't
of
get
this
it in a
yet.
couple of days, then what do we do?
Let me answer, we, as Chris was saying, when we do our budgets, all on unanticipated revenue, anticipated taxes were
Okay,
not
cool.
coming in, and we don't have any of it.
Okay,
But we're anticipating, and that's money that we reasonably can expect to come into us, and that's how we build our budget.
okay. I have
And-
one more question.
Go
The
ahead.
meters, they were talking about which that system was really cool where you could see the leakage and stuff. The meter, when you have a house, that meter reads water to what point? Like is it avoided that you're not paying for a leak that's out in the middle of the road? Does
It
that
won't,
make sense?
yeah, it won't
Like,
measure that.
Where does it make, where
It'll,
does it
it'll
meter
measure,
to?
it'll measure the leak you have. If you have, if you're using too much water in your house, you're not, it'll tell you if you have that leak. We meter everything that we got on one end. We also have a meter on our wells on how much we're pumping.
Okay,
And
got it.
so if we have a difference in there, we know we got a leak elsewhere.
Okay,
It'd be anything after the meter. So wherever the meter is installed at the pit, your property line, anything that goes after that is where it would register the leak at. So nothing before that.
okay,
Thanks,
cool.
Chris. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Anyway, anybody else real quick?
So
Hey.
we kind of have multiple options going on.
Go ahead, introduce
I'm
yourself,
sorry,
please.
Justin Rader, I apologize. So I knew we had some multiple options going on here. What was like the general total cost of everything for getting the water stuff fixed?
What do you mean?
What do
Like,
you
how
mean?
much is it gonna cost to get all of the meters and everything? As like a generalized total. I knew he gave like a base deal, but I couldn't
Well,
quite
we-
read it up
the-
there.
Yeah, it was approximately 135,000 estimated number for the meters. We don't have a total number on what meter boxes we have to replace or anything else, but yeah, we're working on those numbers.
No, that's fine. I know you didn't have an exact number because we're still working on some things. I just wanted to kind of get a generalized idea.
But the meters was, and we didn't have, we know we have some larger meters and he brought that up. It could be, I believe, said another, could be within $10,000 of
Yeah.
that. So that's what we're looking at. And
Okay, and
we're
then
looking at options, yes.
my other question was, I know I kind of briefly brought it up when I came in the last time, but are we planning on doing any kind of like events around here to maybe bring in some sort of revenue? Like, some kind of like little festival, maybe we can work with the people that own the rodeo grounds or some kind of park area
We're
where
doing the 3-on-3.
bring in some food trucks and things like that. Have, some music or something, bring some kind of revenue into the town to help fund some extra things.
This-
Are we planning on doing anything?
The water and the sewer has to fund itself. So to answer your question, Justin, it's a great idea to come up with ways to try to help and collaboratively think and think outside the box. But for a municipality, our water and sewer has to be self-sustaining.
Okay.
So I don't know if that helps answer your question a little bit.
No, and I get that the water and everything needs to be self-sustaining. I just figure, if we have other things like apparently it's kind of rough with the general funds and things like that as well sometimes. So I feel like that should be something that we might want to focus on and be a little more active in towards building that up, towards getting other things into this town and, having some sort of revenue come.
It certainly does, especially with the events that we currently do have, whether it be the senior center, putting on their craft fair thing, or the speed trials, or the car show, or the basketball tournament. Funds are generated, not maybe direct from one hand to the next, but through tax revenue. But there is some stuff coming up soon, but hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, well, appreciate you coming up. Anybody else have any more comments before?
Go ahead if you have.
Real quick, because we've ran out of time. Oh, okay. Go ahead, John,
Okay,
Or-
John Meyer. The
then Marshall.
number of meters that you're looking to replace, is that every meter to
Yes.
every customer in town?
Yes,
Okay. The ones, and we have, do I understand right, around 80 that don't have meters?
76.
Okay, 76.
it's not.
And
functioning.
of the others of those, are they able to be retrofitted? Like Jay mentioned with that new register? And do we know how much those cost versus the cost of a full meter?
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. He didn't bring that option
Okay.
up when we talked to him the other day.
And I understand you're up against the deadline here.
Right.
So,
But what we're trying to look at the most expensive,
right.
make sure we have in our budget of what.
But
Like
when
it's
it
not
comes
shouldn't
down to
cost more than
actually
this.
doing the job,
Sure.
perhaps then you could decide rather than replacing, how many did you say there?
There's 76. that
No,
either-
the total in the town?
there's
200.
there's currently 277, I believe. I could be corrected on that, give or
Okay.
take a few, and that's excluding business. That's just
Okay.
residential.
So we could take 200 rough numbers, round numbers, of the new registers to put on existing meters. The 76, 77, whatever that number is, of the new meters. It seemed like that would save a lot of money once you actually got town to, okay, now
No.
we've
Yep.
passed
We'll
our
look
budget,
at
this
that.
is what we're gonna do.
We'll look at that.
Okay,
Appreciate you coming.
thank you.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
Marshall.
Marshall, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before you get into your next meeting, just bring up a couple of points. As far as putting in new meters for places where you don't have meters, I'm gonna say where that money comes from, that's not necessarily have to come out of the enterprise fund, but I will tell you, you also have in your ordinances, it's section 17-36, where the town is on the hook to replace meters for property owners one time. After that, it's the responsibility of the property owner to pay for that themselves. So that's just something to keep in mind, I guess, in the future. But I guess what I'm saying is your initial purchase for places that don't have meters. Again, that part of the money fund doesn't necessarily have to come out of an enterprise fund, but anything where you have spent money on your water, you're going to have to start maintaining a certain amount of money for depreciation reserves, i.e. for repairs and replacement. And that's statutory. That's really not an option. So just
Correct.
want to remind everybody that.
Thank you.
So since I have to redo this entire budget for the third reading in 13 minutes, there's a couple changes I need to go over with you guys. Okay, in your handout here, highlighted in green are the changes. I'm going to briefly explain them and why. So under ICE equipment training funding, that has been revised upward to 135,000. That's 45,000 up front, and then we have two installments of 45,000. Or sorry, one more installment of 45,000 for equipment, one more 45,000 for IT related. So that's where you get the 135. It was previously, I believe, 105. So that's a revision on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, under general administration, computer copier accounting program support, 22,500. That's an upward revision of 2,500 due to the quote from Cassell for the year and backing that in. On the next page, streets and alleys. This is where I subsidized the water fund, which you're going to see. This increase is actually about $20,000 to both the streets and alleys and 20,000 to Parks and Rec that's being subsidized by the town by shifting all that to Parks and Rec and streets and alleys equally, and it's all payroll related. So that's the current numbers for that. And you can look at where you can do the math on your own and look at where we were and in 2026, now where we are in 2027, and see how much is being subsidized, just so you can see that. Capital projects. Savings transfer, it was decreased down to 127,000 from 145. But that's due to continuing expenditures on the water tank access project that didn't finish. That's the final payout of $18,000 that will be coming sometime in July. We were hoping it'd be done in June, but we haven't got that final one, so we had to shift those numbers a little bit. And then on the police department side, the 46,000, the dispatch contract went from 21,000 to 46,000, or 23,000 to 46,000, so it doubled. And the capital outlay equipment, that is, as you were talking, Mark, that's the remaining of the ICE funding that we have for equipment is found in that line item there. So there's still 37,000 there. And then what's represented on the water fund, I'm gonna stop there. Those are the changes on the general fund that I'll be asking to be accepted into the third reading for just the general fund revenues. And now I need you guys to tell me what we're doing with the water and the sewer so I can finish this budget. Or give me some guidance. No vote right now. Just some
Yeah,
guidance.
can't vote. Marshall, I have one question for you. Is it legal if we were lending money from the general fund to like one of the enterprise funds, water and or sewer?
Yeah, boy, yeah, that's something I hadn't really contemplated, to be honest with you. I will tell you that the statutes don't have anything expressly stating that you can. If you do it, you're going to have to account for interest and charge it like a real loan. Would be
Okay,
my advice, and make sure that it actually pays back.
Giving your kid money with interest back.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just, I just wanted to bring that up.
Can I ask one question? I'm sorry, I got here as fast as I could. Legally,
Yeah,
may I ask one quick
You
question?
can step real fast.
Okay.
Yep.
I know you're against clock. I just had one quick one. I've been watching and all that.
Introduce
I hadn't
yourself,
heard.
man.
Kinley Claproth. How y'all
Yes.
doing? I was just curious. There were 76 meters we got to replace, right? Can someone, I didn't ever hear a date. What date did all the 76 break on the same day?
They've been broken over time.
They've been
Oh.
the number of things.
So what has the city been doing to fix them over time to where we don't end up at the end of a budget cycle trying to do a massive deal instead of working on it over time? I'm a simple guy, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So we've been talking about this and slowly doing this as best we can within the confines of the budget
Yes, sir.
for the last 6 years since I've been here.
Yes, sir.
And I believe Buddy Boyle and the previous administration also, I don't know what they were doing. I can't speak to that. I can only speak to 2020 since.
Yes, sir.
And it has been being replaced and fixed. There was a lot more that were broken.
Okay.
But we only have the funding to be able to do like 6 to 10 a year.
Okay.
So it was more, and the other ones have been broken and to be maintained. Mike would probably have a little bit better answer for you on that.
Okay.
So it's not something that just happened like that. This has probably been endemic for 30 years.
Okay. So in 30 years, our elected
But what-
officials have created 76 meters?
Previous administrations.
I'm not blaming this administration. I'm
We're
blaming
trying to
all.
fix it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
I'm not trying to
years-
be antagonistic.
Excuse me. For years, we've had, we weren't paying enough
Yes,
water
sir.
rate. We weren't. Until we got here, Chris established
Yes, sir.
a fund where we start putting in, try to repair and replace. The depreciation fund, we never had one.
Okay.
For years, we were not paying enough. These current meters are over 30, they're 30 years old.
Yes, they're like our 100-year-old pipes in the road kind of
You
deal.
know, so they have been, and they've been going out maybe at a higher rate recent few years than they were in the past. That's been-
Yeah.
So,
Double since
but we
2018.
need to replace them. So that's what we're doing. We finally got our water projects paid for that we've been working on.
Yeah, I know Chris is working hard on getting grants
And
and stuff
so,
like that.
yeah, we've been working hard to get that. And so we're where we're at now, where we need to address this.
Okay.
That's where we've got.
Okay.
So
So
now
I'm
we're
just
gonna
a
fix it.
simple guy. I just was
Sure.
wanting to know. So we doubled the water rates in the last 8 years and we're still 76 behind. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
No, I think that's I'm not gonna end that. So that's a
Right.
little miss.
Since I've been on council in the year. and a
Yeah,
half,
go ahead.
we've
It's not,
Go ahead.
you missed the previous conversation, Kenley.
Yes, sir.
When the rates were that was because the general fund was literally subsidizing over 50% of the cost of the water, which is illegal.
Yes, sir.
So that is a grossly,
misleading.
misleading statement to end with, that we've doubled it, we've done nothing. The fact is that the rates have not doubled. They've gone up significantly, but not doubled, but it's twofold because they were being subsidized by the general fund by over 50% to keep the rates artificially low.
I understand. Hey, I'm not
And
blaming
so-
y'all. I'm just speaking on how.
It's
we feel.
frustrating, I understand
When
that,
we
but
go from $45, $50 a month to $88 a month, now we're going up to $100 or $120.
We've been-
a month. And I still have a 100-year-old pipe in my ground. Half the water meters don't work and get dressed for more money.
Well, the problem
I understand
is,
y'all
the
come from your
problem
separate-
is we were not paying enough for years and years and years. The governing body, ever since I've been mayor, we've raised our rates every year. The governing body makes a decision and we've been trying to bring them up gradually at a time, kind of ease into it. And we've probably been going too slow. We should have maybe been raising it more, but it is what it is. We're trying to do the best we can with what we got, and that's what we've been doing.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, guys.
Jordan, did you have a comment?
I just was saying, since the year and a half I've been on council, we've replaced 11 and purchased 10. So that's 21 total in the year and a half I've been here. So there's been an effort made, but I can only speak on my time sitting in this.
Thank you. We better adjourn this.
Did we get a copy of the budget?
that's what I have to go redo. What's that?
When you redo it? can we
Yeah,
get a
yeah,
copy?
I will
Cool.
make a copy and I'll have it up there, but I need
Can
to.
I get like a paper copy? Is that one?
Yeah, no, so I'll have it up there, but
Oh,
also,
okay.
yeah, I was gonna do both, yeah.
Can I have a motion to adjourn this?
I need
Motion to adjourn.
guidance.
We don't have
Pardon
it. We haven't
I need
decided.
guidance.
Oh, what
Oh,
do we
guys.
get?
I'm gonna just speak for myself. Option A, leave it alone at $88. I'm out of that. We're just putting our head in the sand and robbing Peter to pay Paul, and we're not getting anywhere. Option B or C, I'll entertain myself. I'm only one person. That's where I stand. There's no need to just sit here and argue it out. I'll just tell you how I feel. That's where I'm at.
Mark, do you have a leaning towards one or the other?
I'm leaning toward the 120 with a set cap for gallons and then overage over that, whatever that fee happens to be.
However, to interject on Mark, I'm calling that option B.
Okay,
Option C, I'm calling the 12 and $12.
I'm tracking.
Yeah, I think we're that far behind that 120 makes sense to me.
Councilman Stadler.
I don't know, option whatever with at 120 for the base, and then if you use an ungodly amount of water, then there'll have to be some kind of overage adopted. Does not pay for meters.
Well, but I'm assuming either B or C, we would still want a surcharge of $10 per meter.
So-
Well, that needs to be done to pay for the meters if we're gonna do that.
So to put in for meter replacement, that would actually in essence be $130 a month.
We only need 5 on that one. There'll only be 5 for that one.
So it'd be 125.
125.
125, and then option C, if we were to $12 total, that's 100.
Well, plus 10.
Then it would be plus 10. So now you're at $110 a month with the $10,000 base dollar.
A dollar, 1,000
over that. Flip a coin, I guess. Either way, everybody's gonna be upset, but I don't know.
The 110, I guess the bonus is if there's somebody that don't have a loan, they have no intention of having a loan,
It's $15 a month less. for
it's $15 a month less for them,
$180 a year.
rather than having to pay more and they not gonna have a lawn. Some people are just not gonna have a lawn or have any desire to have a lawn or trees or a garden.
But the $110 a month with the raising it by 12, the overages is less than it currently is. So that would encourage greenery.
I guess the other thing I thought of is with the working meters we have, we may not have to replace all of them. So that cost could,
I think we would because it's a completely different.
Yeah, I think it's a whole new system essentially.
but
or
it
the-
said that they just put their tag on
Oh,
there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're not
Yeah,
replacing
I'm
all the
sorry.
guts, we're just, or replacing the guts, not the. vehicle.
Not the mechanical. part.
Yeah.
And with the complaint of where are these other 50 or some meters? Those are buildings that have been torn down. I know some of them are.
Right.
Which is true, but they're still available potentially to be.
Right, well, I was like, where's these missing meters? Well, my old place, I bought the place next to it, tore it down. I can point where both meters are. There's only
No, you're right.
one. I mean, just I'm putting that out there. That's where the missing meters are. These houses have been torn down and cleaned up. There's a bunch of them missing right there. And I'm sure there's a meter for this building, but we're not charging ourselves, or the town's not charging the town for the water. But I think option C is probably the least painful.
C is the one ten or 150.
The $12 plus the
That's the ten.
surcharge.
That decrease in the usage amount.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah,
rate.
decreasing the cost of the overage. I think is probably the least painful.
That would be easier maybe on people that are limited income or something like that.
It's all painful.
Yeah. And that still keeps us legal where we're actually building, but not as fast.
With
Unless that's.
And getting the meters in too.
With the caveat that that surcharge is a 3-year surcharge and it goes away.
Second that.
Yes. Tammy, what do you think?
I agree with Jake.
Okay. I think we got guidance, chief.
Okay.
I think, yeah,
I mean, I'm fine with leaving them the same as they are and figuring this out, kicking can down the road, but it's not feasible
Yeah.
and it's not good
yeah.
advice.
I don't think it's responsible for us to do that.
So I just want to, I'm just speaking from my perspective, when I say these things, it's the best advice that is responsible and in the best interest, not that I personally wanted or agree for it or endorsed anything. It's just, I'm telling you what it is.
That's
If
how-
someone has a better idea, I wish they could tell me how to fix it.
Right.
I presented you my idea.
That's in here.
What I could come up with.
It's one of the three.
Wasn't A.
I just do as I'm told.
So,
I ain't married to this guy, Jesus.
I,
move that we adjourn the workshop.
before we do that, I'd like to say one thing. Conscientious that we need to do something long-term of making sure we generate and have a fund that we're putting aside for later meter replacement and or XYZ.
So that is what that extra money that is gonna be allocated to the depreciation fund, that's exactly what that would be for and only for is replacement of existing hardware and services and equipment.
And I think we should adopt that in a reading or something.
It's already part of it. It's just how much we can put into it is the question.
Well, I'm just saying like an actual reading, earmarks that for the life going forward, whether we're all here or not.
What I'm trying to say is it's already earmarked in state statute. By statute, we have to have a depreciation fund that we, again, did not have set up in the budget for years. We do now. I don't, we can't put a specific number to it because you have to have the money there. And so percentage we could put. But what if you lose money?
I don't know, we gotta do something because this is broken. I mean, the system is where we're at. And I mean, it's been for essentially the last 7.5, 8 years. It's been 5 years before that, 5 years before that.
So this right now will allow almost $20,000 a year into depreciation fund. Which would be able to hopefully accumulate and acquire that fund to where it can replace and maintain things as they're broken. But as you know, one pump goes out, it's 15 grand. We had what, 3 last year, Mike, or 2? 2. Yeah, that's 30 grand gone. You have an entire budget, $200,000. I mean, do the math. It just, we have to have this. We can't just budget for the best case scenario and expenditure for the best case scenario and hope things are, that's what's been going on for all these years. That's why everyone's so ticked off is that we're doing this now. And I totally understand that because I have to pay this too. I just don't hate me. I'm just giving the best advice to everybody that I can, and it is what it is.
Yep. There again, we've raised our rates every year for this, be the 8th year in a row, we've raised our rates.
Not by this much.
Nope.
May I ask one question that doesn't mess up your budget, but it has to do with pumps or the,
Please stand up.
so the new subdivision we have, if somebody buys a lot on the subdivision, will they get preference for a meter over a house that's already here?
No,
Okay. I'm sorry.
that's pretty simple.
I thought so.
Say, do we have a motion? We had a motion on the floor
Second.
and a second to adjourn. Councilman Steller moves, second
No, I
by
didn't
Councilor
move.
White.
No, Mark
or-
did.
Huh?
Tammy moved, then
Oh,
Mark
Tammy
moved.
did, yeah.
Somebody. Councilwoman
If
Hardkey moved and second by Councilman Nordine. Okay. Any further discussion? None being all in favor to adjourn this meeting, say aye. Aye, pose same. Motion passed all in the affirmative. The time is
7:36.
7:36. Thanks for everybody for their input.